Whitstable Bay Pale Ale, we've changed the look.
But have we changed the beer? Yes, by the way, is the answer.
So Whitstable Bay was our kind of first iteration of beers to kind of break from that cask ale drinker. We wanted to bring all types of drinkers into our pubs.
Yeah, there's been a number of beers in the Whitstable Bay range over the years. We've got the Pale Ale here, which is probably the kind of, I would say, the mainstay of the range.
Kind of classic.
It's the biggest seller. We've got the Whitstable Bay Lager as well, which has quite a following and, it goes down really well. We've done some work to kind of refresh the look and feel of the beer, also the beer itself. I mean, do you want to talk about the tweaks?
We wanted to balance that bitter and sweet. We didn't want, we felt like there might have been slightly too harsh on the bitterness. So we're trying to balance that, bring the body back up so you can enjoy it sitting on the beach, like now.
Yeah, so, people who've been drinking the brand for a long time might notice it's a little bit sweeter, a little bit maltier, a tiny bit less bitter, got a bit more of that kind of fresh hop aroma. We haven't changed the hops or any of the ingredients, we've just kind of tweaked things slightly in the brew house just to bring out what we think are the kind of stars in terms of the style. What it has that's different from, say, the traditional Kentish ales, it has a lot more hops going into the whirlpool stage of the brewing process. So that is, hops go into the hot side or the cold side when you're brewing. The later you put the hops in on that hot side, you're going to get more of those kind of fruity type flavours and kind of less of the bitterness. So some of our more modern beers have a lot of what we call dry hops, so that's hops going into finished fermented beer, and that kind of gives you that really kind of US influenced kind of style.
Yeah,
and the Whitstable Bay Lager has a lot of dry hop in it, for instance. Actually, the Pale Ale doesn't have a lot of dry hop. It's all in the brew house, but it's just done through the process. So we just get all of that kind of fruity flavours developed in the brew house, and we've kind of worked on that to really accentuate it as much as we can. And we've annoyed the operators quite a lot.
So we're currently filming in Whitstable. So Whitstable Bay being this area, it's a local to the brewery. So we've done a range of beers to kind of capture that. We've got the artwork makes you think you're at the beach. So the branding really showcases those colors of the blue, the sunset. That's kind of where this recipe came from, was we wanted to think about where would you be when you're drinking this?
Yeah.
What would you want to be drinking?
It's a great beach beer. But that's not to say you can't drink it in the winter as well. You can think about the beach and how awesome it will be.
That's true.
Back in the summer again.
Yeah.
Talking about beer is one of the fun parts about brewing, really. You kind of get around a table with all the people that might be interested and talk about what you want and what you want it to taste like, and then obviously you have to make that happen. So that generally takes I think we did 3 or 4 rounds of trials.
Yeah.
Adjusting various things, and then you go back and you do another tasting session. So, is this kind of where we want it to be? And I think we're all kind of agreed that we've kind of moved the flavour a little bit. It's still Whitstable Bay Pale Ale. It still has all the characteristics that it's always had, but just a little bit more. Yeah, if I had to describe this beer in 3 words, I'd say fresh, breezy, and easy.
Okay, if I had to describe this beer, I think I'd think sunshine, warmth.
Armadillo.
No. Sunshine, warmth, and refreshing. So we actually put some of our Whitstable Bay range in our fish and chips in our pubs. So that's kind of what I think of, is I'm eating fish and chips by the beach with a seagull trying to steal them. No, I got it in there. But no, I think of fish and chips, and I think of something like, not being from Britain, that I think of crabbing, of like little kids crabbing. That's kind of the environment on a harbour.
So you're eating fish and chips. The fish has been battered with it in a pale ale batter.
Yep.
There are kids crabbing.
Yep. And there's a seagull.
And it's sunny. And there's a seagull.
And there's a seagull.
Yeah. You've just hit all of the beach-related kind of memes there. If it's the cask version, then it's in one of our pubs. And if it's the summer, it's going to be one of the pubs on the coast. If you've got a can or a bottle, you can kind of free range it. So ideally, a picnic kind of situation, or maybe a beach barbecue, sausages and some burgers, and maybe you've got a little cooler, and maybe in there you've got some cans or bottles of Whitstable Bay Pale Ale. I mean, I don't think it really gets much better than that.
I think you mentioned it earlier. I picture you in the winter time freezing with the pint, saying, "I can't wait for summer."
Yeah, you could be in the middle of winter in your parka, sitting on the rocks at Dungeness, and pretending to fish, but actually there's no line on your rod. You're just there for the beer and dreaming about the summer. Cheers.